Welcome everyone. As we celebrate Shabbat, I'm here with the Suttons here in the Wolf Sanctuary as we celebrate their B'nai Mitzvah, and we're going to begin our service singing Shalom Aleichem.
I did. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei
What a week it's been. I have never looked forward to Shabbat more. Not just an excuse, but an opportunity to take a deep breath and create some spiritual space, a barrier between me and the outside world. Now is our time to take note of our blessings, to put aside our concerns, if only for a short time, and use these 24 hours wisely to refresh and rejuvenate in order to be more fully present for whatever is to come. At the beginning of this week's Parsha, Vayera, we find our patriarch Abraham resting at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day after having undergone his Brit Milah. Yet when three strangers approach, he jumps up to attend them, showing himself to be the master host. Though he does not yet know that they are angels in disguise, he still goes out of his way to make them feel comfortable and appreciated simply for showing up. It's a good reminder to us in a week when we might feel overly defined by red and blue, that actually pink and cerulean might be a better fit. People are rarely fully who we assume they are. So when we give in to presuppositions, prejudices, and stereotypes, we not only limit ourselves and our ability to be our best selves, but we tend to close our tent flaps rather than finding ways to open them wide and let all sorts of folks in, like our patriarch Abraham. This Shabbat, let us focus on the ways we can bring people together, welcoming friends and strangers alike, moving past our differences to find commonality in the gift of community and the expectations of a better tomorrow. Even as the sun sets and darkness descends, let us celebrate the sparks of holiness in us all by welcoming Shabbat with light. So turn with us to page 3 in your Sidurim, whether you have one in hand or you have the link in the chat and Zoom or in the comments on Facebook, or if you're with us on live stream, you click that link right below the screen. We turn to page 3. It's my pleasure to call up our B'nai Mitzvah, Naomi and Ari Sutton, along with their mother Miranda, to lead us in the blessings and kindle our Shabbos lights.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlikner shel Shabbat.
We turn to page 5 for Kiddush.
We continue on page 5 with the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon hikimanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereishis, ki hu yom tehila lemikra et kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta, otanu kidashta, mikohanim, v'shabbat kodsha, v'ahava u'ratzon kinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
L'chaim. We turn now to page 12 as we welcome Shabbat with the songs of Kabbalat Shabbat, L'chuna Ranina.
L'chuna ranina,
continue on page 22 with Tov Lehodot. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Le'hagid b'boker chasecha, le'emunatcha b'leilot. Le'hagid b'boker chasecha, le'emunatcha b'leilot. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon.
Turn with us back to page 20 as we make ready to welcome the Sabbath bride singing Lachad Odi. We sing verses 1 and 2, 5 and 9, and when we reach Bo'e V'Shalom, we rise wherever our personal sanctuary may be at this moment, beckoning that Sabbath bride with our song and our spirit as we sing separately but still all together. Join with us.
Shabbat
I invite everyone who is with us on Zoom to turn on their cameras and unmute themselves so that we can all say Shabbat Shalom to each other just for a few moments. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And to the sun.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
There we go.
Good to see everybody.
We turn now to page 26. We turn to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through the Shema.
Yitkadov yitkadash shemei Rabba, amen. B'amad yivrach eretei v'yanich malachutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayerecho beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uv'izman kariv, v'meru, amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevorach, Le'olam olam me'amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitshoma v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh, v'yithalal shemei l'kodesha b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, Taniran be'amal v'meru, amen.
We turn now to page 28 for the Baruch Hu, and it's my pleasure to call up Ari and Naomi Sutton to lead us in the next portion of our service.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. We continue on page 30.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshaneh itim, umahalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakohavim, b'mishmeratehen barakia kirtzanu.
Borei Yom V'Laila. Golel or mipnei choshe, v'choshe mipnei or. Umavir Yom umevi Laila, umavdil ben Yom umevein Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayan, Tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai ha'amariv aravim.
We continue on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments.
We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated.
We continue together on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha. Ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibartam ba'am V'shivtecha b'beitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uv'tartam המזוזות ביתך וישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיו, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 39, we read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40, Micha Mocha. On page 43, we read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch ata Adonai hapurei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי v'nafash, Shabbat v'nafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam.
On page 46, if you are able, we rise for the Amidah.
תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומותיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We continue together at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We continue on page 59 at the bottom. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 61, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Having prayed for peace in our world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of those whose names are on your screen from our community and extended community, and those which are in our hearts. We take a moment now for you to whisper names out loud. We come together on page 253 as we sing the words of Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Kol HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Please now take a moment for your own silent prayer. Shalom, shalom b'imromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru imru, amen. Shalom, shalom b'imromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Shalom b'imromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imeru amen, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom b'imromav, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen.
Rabbi Yossi ben Yehuda taught, each Friday night, as we make our way home from synagogue, we are accompanied by two angels, one good, the other bad. Each wishes to join us at our Shabbos table. And so if we arrive home to find our house in disarray, nothing planned, everything ordinary, the bad angel triumphs and is able to proclaim, so may it be next Shabbat. But if we prepare to meet the Sabbath properly with candles lit, kiddush and challah ready to go, and we arrive home to a festive Shabbos meal, the good angel joyously exclaims, so may it be next Shabbat. I've always loved this story, even if I haven't always been able to fulfill its ideal, because the idea that Shabbat only really happens if we make it for ourselves is compelling and true. Growing up, whether we made it to temple or not, Shabbat dinner always happened. When I was a rabbinical student, Friday night dinners were elaborate, if not elegant, affairs, rotated among classmates' apartments. Even as parents of young children, we found a way, however chaotic, to do blessings with the kids. But admittedly, in recent years, it's been harder to gather everyone around the dinner table on Friday night. So these months of pandemic and slower pace, plus the fact that my kids are old enough to hold out for an 8 p.m. dinner, has brought us back around to this cherished weekly ritual. So even though, or maybe because, most of us aren't making our way to or from the synagogue, it seems to me that this is a moment when it is easier than ever before to bring these angels to life. And with so much uncertainty and chaos in our country right now, a little Shabbos peace seems to be in order. Our opening song this evening, Shalom Aleichem, is traditionally sung after we sit down at our Shabbat dinner tables. It was written in the 17th century, inspired by the Talmudic legend of the two angels. And it creates a framework for us to build upon when we think about how best to welcome Shabbat. The words are mostly the same from verse to verse, but the opening words of each stanza provide inspiration. Perfection is not really the goal. Instead, we can be moved to think about ways to create a sanctuary in time, one that we can truly look forward to as each week comes to an end. We begin by saying, Shalom Aleichem, peace to you, O ministering angels. But what is this peace that we're talking about? More than a greeting, Shalom Aleichem is a state of mind, one that projects kindness and openness and expects the same in return. Welcoming the angels to our table with a peaceful gathering or greeting gives us permission to clear our minds of that which troubles us and allows the routines of Shabbat to bring serenity to all who are at the table. So maybe you decide to make your Shabbat dinner table a political-free zone, even if everyone agrees. Pick a topic of mutual interest, share highlights of the week, listen to some uplifting music, or even sing some songs. For peace to descend, you must welcome it in. We continue, Boachem l'shalom, enter in peace, O messengers of peace. So how do we entice those angels and a sense of the Sabbath into our homes? A little preparation goes a long way. Consider what Judah the Chassid wrote. The Shabbat is a bride, a queen. The Shabbat is called a delight. Therefore, we must surely make and take pains for the Shabbat. Each person must prepare him or herself, even though they may have 100 servants. This proclamation is not meant to intimidate, but inspire. Most of us lack the time or inclination to create a gourmet feast every Friday night, so start small. Create expectations and traditions one step at a time. It may be enough to set the table a little nicer, put candles and wine and challah on the table. Rather than focus on what you cannot do or do not know how to do, concentrate instead on making the experience different and special. Next, we sing Baruchuni L'Shalom, bless us with peace, O messengers of peace. It's very Jewish to ask for blessings from God, but it's also very Jewish to offer blessings to and for others, and also to find a way to be that blessing for them too. How about going around the table and sharing a mitzvah that you recently performed? Or literally offer each other blessings. There are traditional Shabbos blessings like Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor from Proverbs, and the blessings for children, but it's also lovely to share your own blessings. When I was a little girl, this might sound a little cheesy, it's okay, it was the 70s, we would hold hands around the table, sang the blessings over the candles, wished each other a Shabbat Shalom with a kiss, and then we were able to share nice things about the person in the hot seat, and honor rotated around the family from week to week. It didn't matter if I was annoyed at my brother or had gotten into a yelling match with my sister a half hour before. With the Shabbos candles lit, we were compelled to operate in a different mode, at least while we sat around the table. Sometimes we need a reminder to articulate the love and appreciation we feel for the people in our lives. We're rewarded with blessings, either said out loud or felt in our hearts, because we have shared sweetness and goodness with others. Our last verse begins with Tzedchem l'shalom, depart in peace, O messengers of peace. When our Shabbos dinner is finished, we hope it is with full bellies and full hearts, already anticipating the time when we will gather around the table again. This sweet song voices our highest aspirations, not only for Shabbat, but for our lives. Days and nights filled with peace and blessing, surrounded by those we love, nurtured and watched over by God and the ministering angels. And even though we know the sum of our reality can often look quite different, it doesn't mean we shouldn't remind ourselves and work toward that ultimate goal. The Hasidic teacher, Rabbi Shmuel of Sochchov, taught, all week long a person is conflicted. The body pulls in one direction, the soul in another, but on Shabbat, the power of holiness is so strong that body and soul at last make peace with one another. And for this reason, the angels bless us. That's why Shabbat is called a taste of the world to come. Is it feasible to make the words of Shalom Aleichem real? If we don't expect perfection, but invest some intention, then I say yes. Because what counts most is the effort we make to create a sense of togetherness and to recognize the holiness of the essential people in our lives. This is what ultimately inspires the angels' blessings. They're waiting for us to invite them in. So next Shabbat, as you begin making your preparations, let the thought of the legendary angels on your shoulders inspire you to create that holy hospitality that guarantees your Shabbos will truly be a taste of the world to come. Amen.
Amen. That was very loud in the sanctuary. Sorry, everybody. So we are going to continue with our concluding prayers, beginning with Aleinu on page 283. And if you are able, I invite you to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
You may be seated. As we move to our memorial meditation on page 289, we remember Yitzhak Rabin, the former Prime Minister and General of Israel, whose yahrzeit was observed this week. Rabin was assassinated during a peace rally, a stark contrast of hate and love, despair and hope. His spirit and legacy remain core to our Judaism, the desire for peace, social justice, and democracy, as well as the struggle against intolerance and extremism. As we think about all he stood for and all the work we have still yet to do as humanity across the world, we remember to carry on his legacy. Page 289, a memorial meditation by Rabbi Chaim Stern. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yahrzeits, we remember them. Jeanette Aftergut, Ralph Peter Appel, Deborah Moss Barron, Lillian Barnett Berg, Milton Max Burgle, Ethel Brooks Berkowitz, Myra Bernstein, Bertha Bornstein, Dr. Sheldon Braverman, Joseph Brown, Max Carduner, Betty Clark, Greg Cole, Golda Davis, Herbert Gordon Davis, Harry Dobrin, Leonard Edelman, Solomon Epstein, David Eskin, Beatrice Estenis, Isaac L. Feller, Barbara Flom, Laura B. Garrison, Philip Goldstein, Esperanza Hope Gonzalez, Edward Gordon, James Harris, Edwin Hankin, Alan Teddy Hirschfield, Rosalind Horowitz, Milford Jacobs, Rabbi David Jacobson, Karen Kaufman, Bessie Kleinsmith, Nathan Koppel, Samuel Graham Ladinson, Betty Landau, Myrtle Latimer, Esther Liebman, Malcolm Levy, Frida Levine, Henrietta Levine, Irving J. Margolis, Delphina M. Meyer, Aaron L. Mintz, Toby Nathan, Rochelle Neely, Sandra Wheeler Owens, Milton Petlin, Marion Podorf, Carter Price, Sid Rafkin, Chuck Ramirez, Martin L. Raymar, Jerry Reich, Cleo Reimers, Edward Salazar, David Salzman, Betty Saperstein, Betty Schleifer, Joseph Setlow, Mildred Shanefield, Faye Shapiro, Benita Sobel, Shirley Todd, Esther Charlack Vexler, and Dr. Bernard Weiner. To these names, we add those whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim, as they are remembered in these past 30 days. Robert Rubenstein, Selma Robinson, June Valerie Walker, and J. Michael Freiberg. With all of these names and those which are in our hearts each and every day, we join together on page 294 for Kaddish Yatom, and I ask us to join together standing as a community. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam u'mei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'elma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to have Amy Benedict unmute herself to deliver tonight's announcements on behalf of the Temple Board of Trustees.
Shabbat Shalom. First of all, Ari and Naomi, you guys were awesome. I want to send a warm mazel tov to your parents, Josh and Miranda, and to the entire Sutton family. It's wonderful that you have something so joyous to celebrate during this time. Okay, moving on with the announcements. Our Social Action Committee will host its fall forum on health inequality in San Antonio tomorrow on Zoom and Facebook Live. And the panelists are going to discuss the current pandemic and its effect on vulnerable communities within San Antonio. Also, we have a Sunday Scholars series, which is going to continue. The topic of study is Pride and Prejudice, a study of Israel through the lens of immigration. The classes are held online from 9:30 to 11 for the next 3 Sundays. And the reason that this series is possible is because of the Jean and Jesse Wolfe Religious Enhancement Fund. I now want to move on to our wellness moments. And I am going to read something that Brad Belden placed on Facebook. And I think it's special because it ties into Rabbi Nathan's 2 minutes of Torah, where she talks about the treatment of others, especially others that we may not agree with, that we still have to treat them with respect because all of us are made in the image of God. To quote Brad, "The thing that makes our country so great are each of our differences. Our soul life experiences shape and mold our beliefs. While they might be contrasting, they are equally as important. These individual ideals are the core of our democracy. However conflicting, I choose every day to be kind and respect these differences because they are the foundation of our democracy. I'm at a loss for words when I turn on the TV or look at my phone. The hate is blinding. I hope each of you will find a way to do something nice for someone else this week. Maybe pay it forward in a drive-through, maybe make a donation or bake some cookies for your neighbor. Please reach out to a friend or stranger. The worst thing is that it'll make you feel better. I also hope you'll encourage your friends to do the same. Just think how impactful it would be if each of us did something nice for someone else. We can all make a difference, one person at a time, one day at a time. I hope you'll join me in finding a way to make a difference." And he signs it Brad and his daughter Mackenzie. So let's all make a difference, do something nice for someone this week and make a difference in this world and join Brad. I want to send a special hello, special shout out to my friend Marissa, who's joining us from Washington, D.C. And once again, congratulations to Naomi and Ari. I hope all of you have a wonderful week. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Amy. Shabbat Shalom. Our closing song is Hallelujah. If you don't know the words, you can find them on page 339.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehallelujah, hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We invite you to turn on your cameras, turn off your mute, so you can say Shabbat Shalom. I have our B'nai Mitzvah coming closer to the camera as well.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Nice job, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Guys were great.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Shabbat shalom.
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 Okay.
Shabbat shalom.